Welcome back to Railroads Online. I'm River, and here we are, right where we left off the last episode. We have loaded up the iron, and unfortunately, we can only hold 3 of them. So they're worth $18 a piece, which isn't too bad, but that means we're only going to get $54 a cart, which means we'll get, what, $324? But I guess it's better than nothing. And I did want to tell you guys I did something, not in-game, but I made myself a spreadsheet. If you guys never heard of a program called Open Office, it's free. I don't think there's any, I've been using it for years. I don't think there's any particular issues with using it. It's a free software you got to watch out for sometimes, but in any event, it's a little spreadsheet program like Microsoft Excel, and I have it on my computer. And I put like the number of rails that we have here, say 30, and then the number of beams, or I mean iron, they are iron beams, aren't they? 72. So that I know, and then I also know that I have 86 cordwood over there and no iron ore. So that way, when I'm not here, I can remember that. Because right now, for example, I have no idea how much stuff is up at that coal mine. We're going to go back up there and check. So let's keep going. We're going to move forward. I think all of our switches are going to be good until we get down to... Well, we're going to have to switch the one on the exit here. Flip it back the other way. But then we'll have to... what do you call it? Switch the ones that are going past the sawmill. And then we'll just have to see when we get down there. It won't matter too much once we're already all the way down there. But we'll have to just make sure we're going into the right place. All right, so let's get moving because I would like to do this. And I don't know if... Sorry, I had to back up to go to... I had to back up into the right position. Went too far, so there we go. So I would like to see if we can get all the way up, like 2 trips done. Even if the episode goes over, I might do a part 1 and 2. I don't think I'm going to talk overly much. I do have a thunderstorm coming that in real life, not that that matters too much. Hopefully I won't lose my power, though I am kind of in one of those areas with a lot of trees that is prone to such things. But we'll see. So yeah, I decided to make the spreadsheet up to try to keep track. I mean, when you're dealing with just the sawmill, you know, it's not such a big deal. But like when you have to go, and I'm thinking about it, it's even going to be worse. When you have to go all the way up to that coal mine, fine, drop stuff off, but they only hold like 20 of these beams, so you don't really want to, or the regular wood beams. Yeah, you really don't want to get stuck with those things on your cart. Now we're good on wood, and we'll have to put some firewood in here. Or I mean, we're good on water, and we'll have to put some firewood in here. So in other words, I think that's something they could definitely add to the game, is some kind of a system to keep track of such things. Yeah, I can hear the thunder coming. Hopefully I'll at least get half the episode, like get down to the... I might even save when you guys can see it, if there's a good spot, to not have to repeat everything that I've done. But then again, sometimes it is better... Oops, I better stop. Sometimes it is better to just start over and have the whole episode flow together. I have had snafus. I'm pretty good, pretty meticulous about how I record things so that we don't have too many issues and repeats of entire episodes. The biggest thing I've had is just in this series is like designing some of these things, like particularly this rail yard. I struggled with coming up with what I think is a decent design, because it's like the first one like this where I had to pick up different things and have a bypass lane and all that kind of stuff. So it just took me a long time to design it. I guess we can go a little faster than this. Like I said, for a large extent, I think I'll be relatively quiet. Hope we make it down there in one piece, and we could sit back and watch the train ride together. That's the hill, isn't it? Need to be going this slow, but especially not through this part. I know. Oh, you know what? Sorry, guys. I have to have my knucklehead moment. It seems like. There we go. So hopefully we can get up to speed. Let's give it full throttle to get rolling. Then we can knock it down. To me, that seems like the best thing to do. Like, probably not. We're not going to make it up that hill unless we get some serious water pressure flowing here. No, there's no way. We're going to have a little pause in our action. Should have put that wood in there sooner, huh? Because it'll go up the hill with 27 normally, but it's not going to do it with low pressure 27. Yeah, it's boo. And let's take a look at the map. As far as the money goes, yeah, we should get that much money. Let's hop out for a second. So there's our money, 2,400. So hopefully we'll get up to 2,700. Let's take a look here. Locomotives. What I'm thinking of is I kind of would like to step my way through them. And because I'm a little confused at this point, I'm thinking of going with this one just for something different. And I've heard that it's, it has its own, like it's pretty much the same thing, but I don't think it's quite the same, right? I think there are some differences, and I wouldn't mind maybe saying that. It's relatively cheap. I don't know if it's no better than the other Porter as far as tractive effort or anything goes. Anyway. Let me know if you have a thought on that. I may have already bought it well in advance, but I am interested to learn more. Okay, so now we have pressure building up. Let's give it 100 since we're low pressure. Right, I'm assuming, I don't know that much about actual real steam engines, but a regulator is most likely regulating the amount of pressure, right? It's just basically a valve. But you're going to regulate the pressure to be 48%, probably of whatever you have, right? Let me be quiet while this thing's making noise, and I'll talk to you when we get to a quiet spot. Pretty neat. You know what I need? I need a rear view mirror camera, not to cheat, just to check out the cool scenery that's going on. Keep an eye on the rail cars, but also to just see it. I think that's cool watching that thing go over the bridge. So this should be the only switch we have that we have to flip, and then once we flip it this once, we don't have to flip it again until we go to do some other task, which I may, but we didn't fix up that gravel much, did we? That's a little ugly. All right, well, we're on a mission to beat Thunderstorm down to the iron mine, or the iron works. Oops, not that. Wood's pretty good. We'll make it down there, I'm sure. Let's see. This will all be new tracks, so we'll take it a little bit slow, but I'm pretty confident. This went... I know we were just building on the flat, but once you build through those mountains and you get good at that, and when you get on the flats, and if you just use my technique or just, you know, get a good technique of your own, like where you just like can build the walkway straight or pretty straight. Okay, this one's the right way. Yeah, I forgot about this one. And that one's the right way, too. So I guess we do have 2 more switches, but I thought I put those in the right thing. Yep, so that will be the bypass where we go off to the... So anywhere north can just pull right in here. And then I don't plan on any cities being in between here and there. So if we got to go to the depot from the south, we'll eventually build... We're almost right where I'm pointing. We'll build where that mountain is, right on the this side of that mountain. We'll build a line that heads back up that way. All right, let's speed this thing up, and I'll talk to you when we get down there. Hopefully. Means I didn't crash. Go across this a little bit slower just because it's different. Yeah, nice. I did straighten that out a little bit. That's the one thing I improved since we were building this track. So those other little straightness issues that you may have noticed are, you know, they are what they are. I did see them. I'm not too worried about them. but we could also fix them in the future, right? So they were just sort of the first track laying, I don't want to say attempt, but... Alright, so I don't really know where I'm going down here. I kind of forget. It's not like I've done it much before, but it certainly looks like this is the right way. And I do remember setting it up thinking we were coming here. And then it wouldn't matter no matter what, because we're not going to have another train sitting here just yet. Maybe one day. But the whole train sitting here, it would be cool if you could... This is where we go. How many of these before the thing stops, right? So does that whole thing count? I guess we're about to find out together. I'm going to assume that right there would be the furthest. I think we might even be able to get 3 of them if that's the case, right? Let's go every inch just to test it out this first time. Yep, 3 of them going in. Now this one, yep. Alright, well the middle of the thing is over there. Let's see if it takes it. So we should have 9. Yeah, nice. So I could probably pull up a little further with the next, you know, it wouldn't hurt if we went a little far. The next shot here. That's good. That makes unloading these things a little bit less painful, especially because you only get 3 at a shot, right? Best I can to see. Right there. You know what? Well, let's try it. Let's just see what happens, right? The worst we do is waste 3 of these, and then everyone knows. Oh, it took them. Good. Okay, so you can be pretty lenient. I don't think I would try to do it down there, but somebody knows it would take those, so I'm not even worried about these. We should have 18. Just want to look at how much of this stuff. So 1,000 coal. So that seems to be normal for some reason. Iron ore and the coal can hold 1,000. That holds 100. I'd be willing to bet you money these are going to be 100 of each of these. I want to put this on my spreadsheet. Yep, 100 of each. So that way I can tell, because, you know, when we need to go to what place, and a little bit of a pain to write it all down, but we'll see what happens. This way at least I'll know how much we can hold, how much we have, and we're good to go. Alright, so let's get back out of here. Oh, you know what, before we even do that, before I put wood in here, let's go switch this. The only negative thing about putting these things so far is having to run back out here. Now, you're better off stopping. I feel like, yes, except for that I have to put that darn wood in there. I guess I shouldn't worry about the wood so much. Because if we don't do this, then we'll come out the wrong way every single time. Which, again, isn't the end of the world, but you know, do I wish we could cheat that? Sometimes. Then again, there's a certain amount of pride to having done something difficult. I've always enjoyed that. Whether it was grindy games where you have to work your way up, you know, not always enjoyed it, but certain games, certain things, definitely enjoy that. However, the complaining about it, I think, is part of what I enjoy. Or it must be, or else I wouldn't do it. Alright, so now let's go get some coal. Now this time I'm going to check, just make sure, yeah, the wood was empty. Oop, what happened there? And still, something happened. Let's Now this time I'm just going to throw one more piece in there. Right? We'll put the rest here because I didn't want to waste it. Again, probably shouldn't worry about the wood so much because we have a long run. So we probably even want to consider stopping, I think. Yeah, we're probably going to want to stop maybe at the smelter. Throw some more wood in there. And then we do have to stop. Well, you know what? We'll stop at the top of the hill on that bridge. Not the top of the hill, but there's a bridge right above the smelter on the way there. And we have to switch that switch that's up on that hill. And I guess we'll have empty cars, so I don't know if that'll be too bad. We might not. Well, we have to stop at the smelter because we're going to go get iron cars. Well, that's where we'll restock up and do what we have to do. Now, the other big question I have is, can we do this in an hour? It took us 18 minutes, including my talking and running around there, running around at the other place. So we'll see. I think it'll be close. I know we can definitely get up there, but will we get all the way back here? On the way back, we won't have to worry about switching anything. All the lines should be good back and forth. So normally what I would probably do is just keep running this back and forth, not worry about taking it off, but I'll do that on my own time. You guys won't, I don't know, even if you enjoy this, you could just like replay this episode like 5 or 7 times and you'll be right there with me at that point. Yeah, I want to cut some of those trees so we can see that signal better. But we didn't even check the money. But all right, let me be quiet. Well, we're gonna let's try to blast up there at like 60. As long as that thing doesn't start vibrating, we'll be good. 59. What do you think? Not too shabby. The whole way up. Pretty nice. That felt good. That was the first trip down there, right? So that track was done as well as I've done any track. So it definitely, I think we've graduated. We're ready for a new locomotive. You know, we want to see what something else does, you know, because slow down a little extra for this turn. This turn could be improved. Probably could have put, like, maybe we could even do it at some point, but, well, it might be hard. Put a curve in the bridge, I don't know. Learned a lot since we built this bridge. I'm glad we did it. I mean, I think it adds to the character of the map. So now, what we're going to do is like a pit stop here. Drop these off. Hopefully I'll leave them right in the right position to load up some more iron bars, because that'll be a task of mine. And then we'll run around the other side of the building and get the what do you call it? The iron ore cars, or the hopper cars. That's the word I was looking for. Coal cars. So we'll take 30 coal, which will be a good amount. That'll get us going. And now, how much money will we make for the hopper cars? Sorry, I had to move my thing. Alright, so let's, we should be going in there. We should be good to just go right on in. Right, because that's the way we came out. As long as we didn't do anything. No, we're going to be fine. We should be able to get right in there without any... And this is the benefit to staying with the iron, you know, over switching back and forth, but... I said I want to do this long run. This will be far and away the longest run that we... Well, yeah, because there's no other run that's longer. Now we're going to go this way, so let's hop on that brake pretty good so we can refill with water. Look at that. I don't know. Could I go forward another inch? Probably. I think I'd be okay, but let's just go forward. It was a pretty good stop in there, wasn't it? Oops. What? It's going up. Shouldn't need that much firewood. I think I can throw it in. Yeah, you can throw it in from a pretty good distance. And I've heard people say you have to click that 5 times. I only click it twice. I don't know why. Right, 1, 2, and then it seems to... Alright, so then we'll throw some in the firebox. Did I miss? Maybe that's why they click it 5 times, because they're miss. Now, I heard people talk about missing the firebox. It doesn't seem to happen to me too often. Yeah, it's only on 24, but... One, two, three. Yeah, it did take that extra piece in there. Oops. Got filling up with water. Close the lid. Get in and go. Give it a little more gas. A little more steam. Yeah, so this should be a pretty easy switch as far as switches goes. Well, we'll come around and we'll stop right here. Flip that switch back right in. We can pick these up facing either direction. Direction doesn't matter, so when we come back, but we will, and I'll also flip these 2 switches because we will eventually come back here. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Will I run more? We won't really be coming in here for the coal, will we? That's his iron ore that gets dropped off here. Well, we'll see. I'll flip these for the sake of safety. Right, if you're gonna leave a train in here, you probably should leave the bypass. Be the one that's, Because even if I come in, there's a chance I want to drive past it and back in. So that, yeah, I will almost certainly want to back in. And I think that would, can't see where that's not going to be the easiest way to do it. I'm sure there are other ways we could back in. Yeah, this design works out pretty darn well, doesn't it? Thinking about, really, if you think about it, I haven't used this design much. Oops. That'll be all right. You know, because we've been building so many railroads, really haven't gotten into the whole operations that much. I guess that would come more if you had multiple people. Oh, you know what? I should have, before I even get in there, I should have flipped that switch when I was down here. I'm not going to go that way. Can't flip both right now, of course, because we're in here, but yeah, see, when I come back in, it doesn't matter which way I come back in. Like, meaning whether I'm coming this way or I'm going that way. I'm going to want to go on this bypass, drive past it, and then back into the slot. Gotta love driving trains. I do hope they make some improvements on the cab, because I really wouldn't mind sitting in there like this, but it's, you know, just so easy to fall off. And all right, so let's get around the other side. Yeah, so what are we at? About the half-hour mark. So we'll see. It's maybe we'll just make it down there, which is enough, right? We'll get a good idea of it. Let me know. People haven't made a whole lot of comments outside of they appreciate the building, because a lot of other people aren't showing the details of building the rails out. Let me know if you want to see more train driving. I know there's some people that watch that don't even have the game and just enjoy the view. So maybe they want to see more of the train driving because they don't get to drive back and forth on their own map. And for me, I don't mind showing it. It's just that it does get a bit repetitive. I hope you wouldn't expect me to speak too much if I showed it 7 times in a row. I do tend to try to keep the topic on whatever we're doing, and just only so much you can say about the same rail trip back and forth. Go a little faster, I guess. Did you ever see them move in rail yards a lot of times? Like there's a siding that's not too far from where I used to work, and man, they can go awful slow. This speedometer must read in half miles an hour, you know? So we flip this back the other way, and then we can back in. Now this has a, well, hopefully I stuck to my thing where I always, well, I don't know, I could have pulled in the other way. Hopefully we don't have 2 links in here, because you can't hook it up if there's 2 links. So we'll see what happens here. I usually just take the link out. There are some times that I've left links on the back end of these, thinking I was being slick, but I didn't really realize that there might come a day that I wouldn't want it in there. Yeah, I think we're in. I don't think there's a link in that. Nope. Right, no wheel there. Here it is. Hey. No, that one shouldn't be locked. That one wasn't set at 100. There's no link in that one either for future reference. Yeah, so I don't think I'll leave links on these cars. I'll just use it in that way I don't ever... Again, it doesn't matter what you do, but I think being consistent with some of these things does help. Now, yeah, you know what? Let's just pull forward till we hit the first switching obstacle. So really, we can get through this one. Should I switch this one back to be the bypass? I don't think it matters, though I think I will just for the sake of being able to go around, right? I don't know that we'll be back with these cars any particular time soon. I've got a lot of hauling to do with that raw iron, so that this one's going to be wrong. We're not going to get too far here. But that's all right. We can. All right, so let's go switch this one. So that way we'll be able to bypass. Otherwise, it's just useless. Now, we don't have to bypass, but it's just easier to switch this over to the bypass. And that way they're both one way or the other. I almost wish you could have it where they would be switched. Now, I don't think they really didn't have electricity in 1875, or not much. Like, I don't know if they had any kind of control wiring. Now, again, I'm assuming that we're 1875 versus some other. All right, so that's going to want to go that way. This is going to have to get flipped, at least till we get out of here. You could almost convince me to stop and flip this back the other way. All right, this one, yeah, that one we could flip right now. Let's flip this one just so we can get out of here. And then this one needs to be flipped so that we can come back down this hill and head there. All right, and then that should be good until we get onto the side of the hill up there. Needs to be flipped. And the rail cars are empty, so I think I will try to pull up to it just as much as anything, like at a test, because I don't want to have to run up that hill every single time. All right, we have no fuel. So let's just throw 5 in there, wherever that gets us. Yeah, 44, we're in good shape, so it must have just run down. All right, we're looking a little short. Yeah, so, yeah, well, we definitely want to get more of a lot of things, but I think the next thing will be the Porter's big brother, the black one, whatever that's called, Porter number 2. Alright, so once we get past this, I think I'm going to stop. It's just as easy to do stop now as have to stop later, and even easier because we're going uphill. Not much of an uphill, but enough that I'd rather stop on the uphill when it's easy to stop, and then go far enough? Yeah. All right, so that way we don't have to worry about that. That's the kind of logistics I think will work out in the future, or I'd like to work out in the future. Like, where do we leave these cars that's the easiest to deal with? Because leaving them in the smeltery was one thing, but we could have just as easily left them down by the sawmill and then pick them up. Right, so it's sort of, maybe we'll just end up with so much money that we end up with multiple sets of everything. Yeah, 3-car train is just not as impressive. We'll get more impressive. Still don't like going around that turn too fast. And again, I think first big sign you have to look out for is just watch this car start vibrating. This guy always vibrates, so I can't only pay so much attention to him. But when this one starts really vibrating, you know you're in trouble. Possible. That's right, it's a little further ahead than I always think. It's not halfway up the hill, it's most of the way up the hill. Come to an easy stop with no brakes here. I think I stopped once before with the lumber car, so I think we're going to be alright here. And that should be the last switch we have to throw until we pick up coal. Yeah, see that? Look, we're just going down the hill with no... Just because we didn't have brakes. Alright, well this isn't our first trip up here, but it is our first trip to get coal. So, you be quiet and I'll meet you up there. Alright, we're out of firewood in the, or fuel in the boiler. We could probably go across this bridge a little bit faster, but my worry is that it is steep, relatively speaking, and we have a heck of a turn right at the bottom of it, so those two factors alone keep me going a little bit slower up. Down it. Up it, I'm not as worried because we're going up and away from that turn. We will fix that turn, I promise. Kind of looks like not so good right there. I'm going to assume that this coal is the same as the iron ore. Meaning that we have to fill it up. We can only put 10 in. It won't stop. You know what? We're gonna refill the water, even though it's not. We got the longest trip, right? I don't want to run out of water. Even just getting up here used, 200. So not really 100% convinced that. Oh, I think that's close enough. Find out. All right, good shape. Yeah, it's going up. It took me a while to see that it was going up. Really didn't use any firewood, did we? Oh yeah, one set. I don't even know if it's worth putting any in here. Water's at 500. Very good. Alright, are you better off just like not putting any in? Will you, like in real life, I don't think you would want to put any in here at this exact second. You don't want it any hotter unless you were about to lose your fire. But there we go. So we're good on water. Hopefully, well, we should have plenty of fuel, no doubt. Is this basically the same thing but white, or do we have two chutes? I forget. I haven't even looked at it. Like I said, I think we have enough. We have, I forget how much. Well, that's why I wrote, this is the real reason. There we go. See, I want to write these numbers down while I'm up here. All right, so we have 75. It's going to be, come on. So we'll just let it glide, even though I really want to put the regulator on some, right? There we go. So, right, so like we have 9 rails out of 50. And so it's like a funny balancing act, right? So 20 beams, 0 out of 20 beams. And so let's, yeah, this is basically the same as the, we want to take it down to 41. Oh, geez. Get back up there. Take it down to 41. I usually do 2 ramps until we get close, right? Like 43 is even kind of close enough. And it should go half the speed, and that way I should be able to cut it off without wasting any. Okay. Yeah, and it looks like coal in there. Now, part of the problem where I would really like signs is, look, we have these markers. Well, that marker was right on, so that might be good. Right, like when are we on this one? About there. One little trick I've learned too is that if you are not right on the marker, you can always. Oh wait, there's one. I couldn't hardly see that one, so let's. Maybe that one will be a little more visible. Can't see the car to check it, but I'm sure it's not going to hold more. I think I've read that someplace that it holds 10. Yeah, 10 per car. If we get out, we should be able to see. Yeah, 10 of 10. Yeah, so these markers actually are lined up, even though there's no need for them to be. That's good to know. So in other words, like it would be nice if we could have color coded or something, like even just signs that said what it was. Same exact deal as the iron ore, as far as that. Like the pile keeps growing even after you're long gone from the pickup here. The number jumped ahead pretty quick. Then I guess it depends. Like each one is giving you some. There we go. Yeah, and there was someone on the Steam forums. Oh, we need to flip this the other way. Someone on the Steam forums was complaining that they wasted a whole bunch by not cutting that off. So now we flip the switch over by the smelter, so we should be good to go the whole way down there. Throw this switch here. We've got water. We've got firewood. You know what? I'm going to pause the video. I'm just going to do a quick save. And I'm going to write down these numbers and take a real quick break. And I will be right back. But you won't even have noticed, possibly. I could even do it in a way that you guys won't even know that I was gone. Alright, I'll be right back. Nope, there we go. So I took a minute to write that down. So now I know, like, we don't have enough for another trip. So I'm going to have to bring up some beams. We can only bring up, you know, this many, and, you know, but we also really don't have enough of the rails either, so we have to figure out the rails, and then just having it written down will make it a lot easier for me to try to figure out where we're going there, right? Alright, so we should be in good shape. As far as I know, everything is good to go the whole way down there. We should be able to just sail on down. All the switches should be in the right place, other than maybe when we get down there. No, because we're pulling in the same side as we did before, so we shouldn't have to worry about bypass or anything. Let me go around. This turn and the one at the top of the iron ore mine are very tight. I don't want to push them. Just want a nice, smooth, slow, maybe not that slow, but nice, smooth, slow ride around it. That's what I was trying to say. We probably could have gone a little faster. Alright, so let's mark the time. So it's... Well, I don't know the exact time of the video because I broke it, because I paused right there, but I know what time it is. So we'll see. We're 1 minute into the new segment, more or less. 1 minute and 40 seconds since the break. So we'll see how... I'm curious to see how long a train ride we've created. Switch is in good position. Oh. Need more fuel. Okay, good. Good that I noticed that before we're... And I do wish we could add fuel. That would be one of my biggest requests. The stakes, are signs that we can put and mark things. And... really being able to put wood right in there. Now that we're getting into longer runs, that's definitely a thing that's getting annoying. But other than that, we make good time on both of our straighter stretches. We have to slow down up in here, which makes sense, right? Wouldn't be fun if you just go full speed the whole way. So we're pretty much at the hour mark, aren't we? Yeah, just looking at my thing, we're just over now. So this one will go longer. Whatever length it is will be... I don't want to get going too fast, but it'll take forever. Yeah, whatever extra over an hour will be because this trip took a long time. But at least you'll have seen the hours and hours of labor. This is where I want to go. Well, this is downhill most of the way, which is not the end of the world, but you do want to keep it in mind because you get yourself into trouble. I have more trouble with downhill than I do uphill by far, as far as derailments and safety violations. They all seem to happen on the downhill part. Uphill is just a lot easier to control your speed and just you're tending to go slower, right? So if I set this at 30, it just tends to be a slower speed when it's on the... It's like the same thing as doing 50. It's a little quick for that turn. Once we get up past this bridge, we'll floor it then. I don't know about floor it, but we'll go a lot faster. Funny thing is we're really not that far away from the coal mine right now, are we? Just up over that hill. We got to go all the way up and around. So maybe one day we'll see, or we'll watch somebody else's video as to how they do it. Has anybody gone up and over that? I don't tend to watch other people's videos, but let me be quiet because this is loud. I don't know if you guys noticed, probably weren't paying that much attention, but this car started vibrating through there, so that's definitely a section we probably need to improve. Something's going on there it's not right, you know. Because we would, you know, no particular reason we shouldn't be able to go to 50 through that, or 50 right on the regulator. See that card vibrating? That's the sign that things are about to come apart. So I want to try a little trick here. Let's see if we can't. I'm just going to go ahead. Once we hit this hill, I'm going to hit F and then I'll put on the full brakes. Right. Didn't take the firewood. I heard that it can't do it on more than a certain grade. Yeah, so are we just going to have to come to a stop? If we're going to stop, this is probably... Well, the problem is... Well, no, we can't stop here because I don't think we can put firewood in above a 3% grade is what I heard somebody say. I don't know what the grade is, but... Let's just head down. We just wasted wood throwing it on the ground, I think. And so I can see where, if you're trying to throw it in there, it looked like it was... It looked like it wasn't following real physics, because if you were to throw firewood from a moving train, the firewood's already moving before you throw it. Right? So in other words, if the train's doing 50, that piece of firewood's doing 50, and when you throw it another 30 miles an hour. There we go. So we should be able to... Right, so we're at 31. I don't know. Maybe some of it got in there. Right, that brings us up to 49. Let's get the show on the road again. I'm not real sure why that water doesn't go down right in the beginning. And it almost seems like it doesn't go down until after the fuel. I'm going to keep an eye on that. Why wouldn't that water start going down sooner? Is everything fine behind us? We're in good shape. So we have this little downhill where it won't be so loud, and then we're going to be steam engineing it pretty much the whole rest of the way after that. Making a lot of noise, like a freight locomotive. Now we flipped this switch, but I definitely want to try to see it and confirm, just because I don't actually trust my brain as much as I used to. I guess. Maybe because I maybe hit my head on the wall too many times. This one cut that down. It really doesn't need to be over 30. But you do have to watch out, because you will come ripping down this hill. Yeah, it's going the right way. And that other one, yeah, we went and switched that one. So we should be good shape. We'll just take it slow. No derailments. No lost rail cars. No, none of that stuff. Alright, it's this one. Yeah, we need to cut a few more trees down there, but that's the right direction, because it's a good thing it's the right direction, because if it wasn't, I couldn't see it before I could stop. So, cut those trees. I guess we had cut them before, but we moved everything around. I didn't recut them. Alright, I'll probably see you guys down there for the noise's sake, if nothing else. I don't think I'd want to go through there too much faster than that. That was pretty smooth, pretty nice. Go, about 20-minute trip. So that's one way, right? So if you want to bring coal down here, it's going to be a 20-minute trip. It's kind of tough duty. I was just on the way down here, I was looking at my little chart, and yeah, it's servicing the coal mine. It's going to be a bit of a pain with the fact that you can only put in 20 beams. All right, so it's going to be switching back and forth between delivering beams and delivering rails, because then there's 10 rails fit on a car, and our car holds 60. So, you know, I guess as long as we had a load of beams there, and then the other thing is, do we want to start staging stuff so we could even, you know, that's probably a place that we might even consider leaving some rail cars with some stuff up there, because it's just such a small amount that it holds. But we'll see. See if there. Sometimes you just do something a few times and you figure out, well, this is a pretty good way of doing it. You start falling into a rhythm. Okay, I take one of each, back and forth. A little bit of signal switching, but not the end of the world. This should just be right to come in and drop it off. I don't know if there's anything special we have to do. I guess pull up right next to that thing. Just like we did with the thing. We might be able to unload the whole thing in one shot, right? If we could stop, because this looks like it's just as long as that other one. We did 3 rail cars there, so. Just put a little bit past it. So know that the whole thing is possibly in there. It's at least past the halfway part. Get it. So we got balls of iron ore and big, huge Minecraft blocks of coal. Yeah. Look, it's getting sucked in. That's good. That means we're going to make something. Right, and I've been a little bit more courageous about unloading 2 things at a time and haven't had any significant issues. Well, there we go. Let's take a look. So this should be going down if it's not. Yep. There they are right there. I really do like the fact that you can look in the rail yard and see what's in there. Look, there we go. There is some tools. And there is some steel pipes. Well, guys, the episode's kind of long enough. I hope you enjoyed the train rides. The rails tested out, I think, quite well. Still some improvements to make, but not so much to this southern leg. And then now that we have this, we'll have to decide what to do, next episode. Maybe, I do want to get some money going too, so I'm probably going to do some running around, and plus I'm way ahead on the recording. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it. There we go. We have tools and steel pipes, which is exactly what we need to get our oil field going. We already have the beams for over there. So at some point we'll get that going and hopefully even have a new locomotive. So I will talk to you guys at some point in the near future. Have a good day. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.